Okay, and this is the last skill we will talk about from conscious discipline. There are seven, and the last one on purpose is consequences. Not because we don't want to give consequences, but because I find that this is the one that is least understood and requires more attention. It's also last because consequences should come at the end after you have connected with that child, you have encouraged, you have been empathetic, you have shown and given a lot of positive intent. If that all that didn't work, then you can connect choices to consequences, and that's pretty important to understand. That choices and consequences go hand in hand, and another important distinction is to know that consequences are not punishments. So again, in life there are many consequences, natural consequences. Those are great, and that's why Montessori is so beneficial and amazing, because if you spill water, you'll see the water spilled, and you learn how to clean it up. There are a lot of natural consequences that we allow for, and we allow our children to learn from them. Now, then, there are times when we want to impose a consequence that is adult created, and that's where it gets a little tricky, because you want to make sure that it's not a punishment. It needs to be relatable. It needs to be with a child that is not in anger, they've calmed down, and you can discuss this consequence. But again, always tying it back to choices is helpful, because then it doesn't seem like a punishment, some arbitrary thing you came up with in your head, but it's connected to the choice that they are making. So literally, the child, the way that you're going to phrase it is they are making that choice themselves. So some examples that I give for or simple consequences that you could see, like with a young child, mine right now. He is really enjoying throwing things at us and hitting us with sticks. That's not something I'm going to allow. That's not appropriate. So I remind him again how to kick the ball. I remind him how he may use a stick. And then if he does it again, then I tell him, well, I'm going to take the stick away or that ball away. And I'll put it away. He'll be upset, and he can go calm down, and I can be empathetic or take him to the peace area. But he may not hit me. So it's pretty natural, but also imposed, right? Consequences that I'm going to take that away from him. And that's something simple that we do with scissors. When you misuse something, things are taken away. That's one simple way to practice consequences in a very respectful way. You allow them to try it again and see if they can handle it. Maybe twice, that's it. If they can't, then okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to take that. I'll put it in my hand. Sometimes you have to take it. I'm sorry to do that, but I can't let you hurt others. My job is to keep everybody safe. And that's a terminology we use a lot in conscious discipline. My job is to keep everybody safe. So I'm going to help you. Or you can give choices. Would you like to put it in my hand, or would you like me to take it? Do you want to put it in my hand, or do you want to put it over here? Again, because they're in such a search for autonomy and independence, they will likely respond better if you give them those choices rather than just taking it away. But that's important, to not allow them to hurt somebody or the environment, taking things away when they're misusing it. And then another way that we do consequences is tying it to their behavior. So if they are hitting somebody, if they are using the blocks to hit somebody, then you can tie it to the choices. And just like with that example with the hitting too, it was, well, the blocks are for building. This is how you may build with them. So say that two siblings or two friends are working together, and one of them keeps knocking down the others or hitting them with them. Then you can remind them, oops, you forgot. Positive intent. This is how we build. And then you need to ask your friend, is she liking that game? Does she like that you're knocking hers down? No. Okay. So you need to listen and respect what she's saying and build. And you can talk about how you want to build. And then you can remind them one more time. And then it's like, oh, I see you're having a hard time with this. So you have two choices. You can continue, take a breath, and talk to your friend about how you're going to play together and respectful, and not hit her with the blocks or not throw her blocks down. Or you can choose to go work over there with something different. What is your choice? And allow them to make the choice. And so then they will likely make a choice. Or if they ignore you or choose to continue to do what you've told them not to do, that is still a choice. So then you vocalize that. I see you're continuing to make the choice to be hurtful. My job is to keep everybody safe. Therefore, I'm going to help you to come this way to find some other activity. I cannot allow you to be disrespectful or hurtful to your friend. Then, and I'm not mad, and I'm not angry. It's not a punishment. They don't need to go sit in timeout or look at the wall or whatever. They just cannot be in that situation. They need to go choose a different area. So those are like the 7 basic skills. There's a lot more that goes to conscious discipline, so much more. One important thing that we haven't talked about is like repairing whenever something does happen. That'll be at a different time that we'll talk about how to get them to talk to each other. But that's part of assertiveness too, is to know how to say, I didn't like that, don't do that to me. Next time you may use your words, next time you may ask for a turn. That's part of assertiveness. So that is something I wanted to mention, is that we have to follow through, even when they go to the peace area or when you give a consequence after everybody's cooled down. It's important to I want to encourage you and encourage your children to come back and talk about what happened. It takes extra time, and we can't always do it for every single thing, but as much as possible, we need to remember to come back to that situation and talk about it. It's a learning opportunity. That's our job, to teach. Discipline means to teach. So we need to come back and be like, oh, this situation happened. Tell us how you felt about it. Invite the child to be assertive and invite the other child to repair. What can you do to help her feel better? What can you do in the future? Or let me show you how to do that, and give them and teach them. Otherwise, you're just managing fires all the time without giving information. So whenever you come to peace education, we can do some skits that we call in Montessori grace and courtesies, and we practice these skits on how to be assertive, how to tell somebody we like something, we don't, how to tell them to use their words, and how to repair, how to make somebody else feel better. So that is important. And so we don't typically tell children, go say sorry, but we invite them to sit down, look at each other, express what they're feeling, and then find a solution and a way to help that friend feel better. But it needs to come from them, from within. I hope that these videos are helpful for you, and I hope that it makes you want to come to the fun education sessions that we have coming up. See you soon.